try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, your check is I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession, all in his possession. You got their attention, I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill, no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression, You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they see me. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race, life is a chase. I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds, they can stay soft. You can change lives, you create thoughts, never waste time. You got one shot, you got one life, better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss, just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, your check is I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession, all in his possession. You got their attention, I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill, no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11.
What up, Finn fans? Welcome to another episode of the Finn Posse Podcast. I am your host, Big C, and this is brought to you by Game Changers Media. Hello. Good morning. Michael Aqua Miller. What's up? Had a mini vacay, but you're back. Glad to have you back, Miller. Hope your vacay was everything you hoped it could be and should be. What up, Elwood? What's up? Good morning. So what's this we got right here? Let's see. I'm surprised the Cowboys are in the Ramsey conversation. Yeah, you can't ever be shocked by the Dallas Cowboys. I'm hearing there's a lot going on with the Dallas Cowboys. Jalen Ramsey just bought a house in the Fort Worth area. Does that mean something? Is that a hint? Does he already know something that they're not letting out to the public? What would a trade package look like from the Dallas Cowboys? Are they sending us Diggs in return? Are they sending us who's the other guy they got over there that I'd actually think I'd rather have? What's his Blanda maybe? So, yeah, I hate to even talk about Jalen Ramsey. It annoys the hell out of me, the whole situation, to be honest. I find it absolutely disgusting. I really do. I find the whole situation absolutely disgusting. Hold on, I got to find my phone. 1 second, let me find my phone. Sorry about that. But yeah, the whole Jalen Ramsey thing just drives me absolutely nuts. I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think Jalen Ramsey is good as Jalen Ramsey would like you to believe he is. Now, I mean, he graded out pretty well last year, even though I didn't think he played all that great. And obviously, you know, he's better than anything we have on this team currently. No holiday today. OTAs, yes. OTAs do start today. Not surprising. Cowboys are mentioned. They did get Noah from the Dolphins. Yeah, make sure you hit that like button. Yeah, Bland, Elwood. Yeah, Bland. I'd rather have Bland, to be honest, than Diggs. Diggs was the hot name a couple years ago, but he's been injured the last 2 years. So, I'm curious to see what we're going to do at the corner position. I really am. I'm curious to see. Fuller's still available, and I know Fuller had the concussion issues last year, but Fuller didn't play bad when he was on this team. Fuller didn't play bad for us last year. Was he great? No, he wasn't great. But did he play decent? Yeah, he was decent for us last year. But to be honest, I just can't wait till this whole situation's over with Ramsey. Like I said, I feel I'm absolutely disgusted by the whole scenario. I'm disgusted that he gets to pick and choose what teams he wants to be traded to. I'm disgusted by the fact that we gave this guy such a huge contract and he can't take a little criticism from the coach, and he's putting this whole season in jeopardy. He's putting the whole season in jeopardy because we don't know what the secondary is going to end up looking like. And, a position that could have kind of been a strength for us is absolutely the biggest weakness on this team now. Diggs is X on offense. We're talking about Diggs, the defensive back. You know that, right? Not Stephon Diggs, not the wide receiver. We're talking about the corner. His little brother. But yeah, I mean, again, this team would look so much differently in my eyes if nah, it's all right. Diggs actually signed with the Patriots. Stephon actually signed with the Patriots. So he's back in the division. Big C's talking about Carly B. Diggs. Yeah, he's with the Patriots. Carly B. Diggs. That's crazy. That's how he's known now. He's Carly B's Diggs. Again, you look at this team so much differently if Diggs is on board. Like, I'm looking at this defense. If Diggs is willing to come back and play, which I know that he's not. I know it's not an option. I know it's not real life. But I look at this defense if Diggs is willing to, or not Diggs, Jesus. If Ramsey's on board, I look at this defense as a top 5 defense. I look at this defense like a top 5 defense. And now that he's not here, I think that limits how good this defense can be. I think this defense can still be really good. I really do. But I think it limits the overall potential of this defense because we don't have a top tier corner at the current moment. We don't have a top tier corner at the current moment. I think the Dolphins are doing the same thing to Jay Ramsey. Jarvis Landry would trade BS, trade out of nowhere. Raphael, I don't think it's the same situation. I don't think the Dolphins wanted to pay Jarvis Landry. Ramsey's already got his money. Ramsey's getting his money regardless. The Miami Dolphins didn't want to go and give Jarvis a new contract. That's why Jarvis ended up getting traded. They already extended Ramsey. They already gave Ramsey his money. So I don't think it's the same scenario. I think it's just a situation that Ramsey doesn't like to be told about Ramsey. He doesn't like to be told about himself at all. At all. Asante coming, I believe, honestly, we don't need top tier with this projected pass rush. And, maybe we don't need top tier, Miller. I'm not saying that we necessarily need top tier. But, I mean, as bad as Jalen Ramsey is at times, Jalen Ramsey is still a top 10 to top 12 corner in this league. And if you got a top tier defensive back on this team, how scary is this defense then? Because Jalen Ramsey's an opportunist. Yeah. He takes advantage of opportunities. Oh man. He takes advantage of opportunities when quarterbacks are under pressure. He takes advantage of situations where a play breaks down, and that's where I think he's his most dangerous. And with this pass rush, and I think this pass rush can be really deadly this year. I think with a pass rush like this, Jalen Ramsey would be, I think he'd be a top tier player this year. I really do. I think he would play out of his mind this year. Jose, how do you not think that a coach should not be able to call out a player? I don't get that. There you go, Elwood. It's easier to spell than say. It's easier to spell than say. How do you think, how are you supposed to be coached if you can't be called out? See, I'm more pissed at Jalen Ramsey than I am at Tyreek Hill all day, every day. People want to criticize Tyreek for quitting on the team. This is the definition of quitting on a team. Jose, it doesn't matter if you're the biggest problem. If you make a bad play, you should be able to be called out on your shit. You make $30 million a year. There's no reason that you can't be told if you make a bad play. There's no reason. Well, he's worse than I am. He gave up more big plays than I am, so you can't say nothing. No, what? That's crazy talk, brother. That's crazy talk, Jose. And I respect your opinion, but man, like, I can't get on board with it. I can't get on board with it. I don't think that's the, if that was the case, you can only call out the worst of the worst. How's anybody supposed to get better? So we can only call out Liam on the offensive line. You know what I mean? We can only call out Eli Apple on defensive in the defensive corner room. That's crazy to me. Mother says, I see what you're saying. I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop. We don't know why Ramsey is putting what he is pulling, but I bet it'll be the. Listen, he can say whatever he wants, Miller, but Jalen Ramsey's been a problem everywhere he's played. When Ramsey wants out, when Ramsey don't like something, he causes a disturbance and he leaves. We good now? We all right now? All right, thanks. Sorry about that. I don't know. Every once in a while, I just got to unplug it and plug it back in. I don't know. I don't know what the dilly is. But come on. Like, you should be able to call out a player if he makes a bad play. That's my opinion. Ramsey is a prima donna. Absolutely, Bonnie. Absolutely. Like, just because you are one of the best players on the team doesn't mean you can't ever call them out on their shit. Miller, he needs another surgery that I'm trying to get the money around for. Um, he has one of them gallbladder stones that are stuck in a area that they got to do a special surgery. So I'm trying to get the money around for the surgery right now. It's another $2,500. I've already paid over $3,500 for it. So I'm trying to get it. You spitting out that fire, the mic can't handle it. That's what I'm talking about, Elwood. Yeah. I would about be my hype man. But yeah, enough about Ramsey, though. Ramsey doesn't deserve this much time from this fan base. The way he's doing us, he don't deserve the amount of time that we spend on him on a daily basis. Other news before we get into this Dolphins defense. Tyreek Hill, he seems super motivated this season. Talking about 2K yards again. Listen, if Tyreek gets 2,000 yards, obviously we're probably force feeding him the ball a little too much. But Tyreek Hill with a goal, Tyreek Hill with motivation is a good Tyreek Hill. Is a good Tyreek Hill to have. As a head coach, you got to be impartial. You can't go using top dogs as stepping stools when you are chasing respect. You go and take it by letting go bums and setting rules. What you're saying, Jose, is if you're one of the top players on this team, you can't ever say none to the top players. How's that a good atmosphere? You're pretty much saying if you're a top player on this team, if your name's Tyreek Hill, if your name's Tua, if your name's Jalen Ramsey, don't worry about it. If you make a mistake, don't worry about it. If you make a bad play, don't worry about it. We're not going to say nothing to you. Now, if I was a player that wasn't a Tyreek Hill, look at Jalen Waddle, for instance. If Tyreek messes up on some routes and nothing said to him, and I mess up on a couple routes and you ream me a new one, how am I going to feel about that? Miller, I mean, you say, Lord, I hope not. If that's the case, we're going to force feed Tyreek again. When we force fed Tyreek, whether you want to admit it or not, we had a top offense in the NFL. You can't disrespect publicly. That's private stuff. Where did you see him disrespect him publicly? What did he say publicly? What did he say? Exactly, Cat. No more baby coddling these star athletes. That's why he's doing what he's doing right now. Because he's been babied his whole fucking life. That's why he's doing what he's doing right now. Because he's been babied his whole life. Oh, something didn't go my way. I don't want to be here no more. Trade me. What? No, that's not how it works. You're a player on this team. You're no better than anybody else. You already get compensated for you being better than the next guy. You get a bigger paycheck. That is the only thing that you should be getting coaching. Why you should not get a different coach because you're a top player. A spade is a spade. That's what, yeah. I really believe Tua is no longer force feeding to Tyreek, especially when he's going to be one-handed. He's not going to be one-handed. He's going to be fine. He was more one-handed last year. He gets treated better. He gets paid better than all of them. That's getting treated better. Listen, I respect your point, Jose. I just can't get on board with it. I can't get on board with it. I'm sure Jalen Ramsey gets special privileges on that team. But as far as if you make a bad play, you should absolutely get called out just like a Storm Duck does. Absolutely. If anything, you should be called out more. Why are you making the same mistake as a rookie? But, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, obviously, this leaves us with a major hole on our defense. Cornerback is an area that I thought that we'd address more in the draft. We traded away our 3rd round pick to get Jonah, which I'm cool with now. I guess I do wish that we could have maybe traded a 4th and and moved up, but it is what it is. We got our guy. Then we traded away a 4th. We traded away a 5th. And we didn't get a corner until we took Marshall from Florida. And that was super late in this draft. And we only took 1 corner. And I don't think that a corner taken in the 1st round or in the 5th round of the draft is ready to come in and start right away. Sure, we got second round players on this team that aren't ready after 3 years. And we're supposed to expect this 5th round rookie to be ready to go. So we definitely got an issue at the cornerback position. I think Storm Duck is becoming a nice player. I think he's getting better. Hopefully he takes another step forward this year. I think he's a great depth piece. I'd hate to see him be one of our starters. But yeah, let's say Storm Duck is a starter. We need another corner that can cover teams' number 1 receivers. Storm Duck can't be our number 1. Now there's lots of hearsay going on that Cater Kohu could be pushed to the outside. And Cater isn't terrible as a boundary corner, but he's definitely way better as a nickel slot corner. I'm not going to be happy if Cater gets pushed outside to be the number 1 corner on this team. That's not ideal in my opinion. That's not ideal. I don't think that's the only real reason, Elwood, but that was absolutely a big reason. And that's why I'm excited for this season. Only reason Tyreek had those yards in 23 was the running game. We had balance. Listen, that's a big reason. It's a big reason. It's not the only reason, but it's a big reason. That's why I'm excited for this year. I think this offensive line is going to be greatly improved over last year. I think we're going to be able to run the ball, and I think it's going to open the passing game back up. And Bonnie, that's when you sue him. If you try to make Ramsey play for us, he'll just fake an injury. Then you sue his ass. You sue the shit out of him. Ethan Bonner got something to say. Ethan Bonner don't got nothing to say. Vic Fangio was a fan of Ethan Bonner. I don't think Weaver's a fan. I don't think Weaver's a fan of Ethan Bonner. When Vic Fangio was here, we heard all this promising news about Ethan Bonner. And when we got to the regular season, we got nothing. But last year, I don't really remember hearing Ethan Bonner's name like that. Maybe we're going to have a scheme change, more blitz heavy. I mean, I guess it's possible. I think, you know, blitz heavy scheme, it puts the corners at risk. Because if you don't get home, you're leaving your defensive backs on an island. If you're blitzing, that's less people for coverage. And I don't know if that's what's best for this team. I think they're going to try to get as much pressure with the least amount of players as possible. And it's going to help having Kenneth Grant on the field because Kenneth Grant, you gotta put two people on him. You got to put two people on Kenneth Grant. So Kenneth Grant makes it a mismatch for the offense. Automatically, our defense is a mismatch for their offense because Kenneth Grant takes up two blockers. And I think that's going to allow us to get pressure on the quarterback even when we're not blitzing. Artie Burns has a few words. Yeah, maybe 5 years ago. Artie Burns might have had something to say 5-6 years ago, but not. He might have something to say on special teams. We had 2,500 yards and 25 touchdowns between Achane and Moser. Yeah, they were phenomenal that year. They were phenomenal. Bonner got injured. He was taking reps with the ones. 3-4 defense, you think? Probably, but I think we're probably better suited for a 4-3. He's basically a more athletic Vita Vea. Yeah, I mean, I could see that, Miller. Cam Smith got to show up this year. Man, it'd be nice, right? It'd be nice, right? And the thing is, like Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard, we're singing the praises of this guy. I don't know what his issue is. I hear a lot of it's the nightlife in Miami, which, like, get over yourself, bro. Get over yourself. I don't know if it's so much on the field as he's just not putting the time and the effort in. But he obviously had the talent to be a second-round pick. I mean, I liked the pick when he came out. I thought he was a talented corner. He just hasn't lived up to expectations. Even with the signing of a number one corner, someone on this roster has to step up. Yeah. I would perfect world, in my opinion. Miller says 4-3 all day. I think 4-3 would be a better option for us. I do. Even with the signing of a number one corner, someone on this roster has to step up. In my opinion, in a perfect scenario for us is, and I know he's been hurt the last few years, is Jair Alexander. Jair Alexander, in my opinion, is an upgrade over Jalen Ramsey when they're healthy. When they're healthy, he's an upgrade over Jalen Ramsey. I think that, if we were to get Cater Co or not, shoot, if we were to get a Jair Alexander, I'd almost be all right with pushing Cater to the other boundary and go and sign to Mike Hilton, because Mike Hilton's an upgrade over Cater at the slot at the nickel corner. So now you got a top tier corner on the boundary, you got a top tier corner at nickel, and then you got Cater at the other corner. I'd be all right with that defensive back. I think that would, and I think Cater would be all right. I think Cater would play even better because we'd be so good up front. I understand that, Aqua, but damn, how many years in a row you going to do that? Because at some point, Cam Smith is going to be former NFL player. You know what I mean? And then how much your name going to ring bells in the streets? Pretty soon that money going to run slim to nothing. You only got a rookie contract. You know what I mean? So then what you going to do? You're going to be in your 30s in Miami with no cash and a former player. I want to know all of your top replacement. Who's your favorite? If you had a wish list of replacements for Jalen Ramsey, who's at the top of your all's list? Who's at the top of y'all's list? I would hope it would be a little bit realistic. PS2 is not going nowhere. You know, the year that we really put that beating on the Broncos in 23, I would have reached out and I would have called the Broncos again about PS2 because I think the Broncos might have been willing to move off him. Jose says Ward. Yeah, I mean one of the Cleveland defensive backs would be a nice addition. You said wish list. Yeah, I mean I'm not realistic wish list, Elwood. Realistic. Great Green Bay, Jair Alexander. I was preaching for Asante Samuel Jr., but his neck injury is a concern. Not only is his neck injury is a concern, Raphael, but he wasn't very good when he was healthy. He wasn't that great when he was healthy as last year. Lattimore, listen, Lattimore was hurt last year, but Lattimore has been a top corner. He's a dog. What would it cost us to get him from Washington? I don't know if Washington be willing to part ways because I think Washington feels they got a Super Bowl roster right now. So I don't know if Washington will really be willing to move off of him. Raphael, you talking about Asante? I'm pretty sure Asante's last healthy year, he wasn't very good. We were stupid not getting DJ Reed when we had the chance. Yeah, I mean, I think was the Ramsey stuff known when free agency started? Did we know that Ramsey didn't want to be back when free agency started? Because if we did, and the fact that we didn't go and get a DJ Reed or someone like that, then it's not very smart. I'd like us to trade for the kid from Kansas City. What's his name? Watson. Jalen Watson. He's in the last year of his contract over there. We'd have to give him a new contract. But Kansas City doesn't typically re-sign their corners. And he's a pretty good player. He's a pretty good player. Would I say he's a number one for sure? No. But he's a good number two. He's a good number two. Miller says top three for me are Jair Alexander, Trayvon Diggs, Julius Brents. Bonnie said I heard Greer new in January. Then that's absolutely stupid. That's absolutely stupid. That's the stuff I think that kills us about Chris Greer, right? You don't take Watson. You don't take things serious enough. There isn't enough pep in your step when it comes to something that affects his team so greatly. If you know we have no corner depth and you know our top corner wants to be traded, why aren't you immediately going into a little bit of a panic mode? Now, I don't want you to necessarily panic, but I want you to take it. I want you to have a sense of urgency that we need to go get someone. We can't wait till the last second all the time because when you wait till the last second, you're left with bird droppings. You're left with the scraps. And scraps aren't good enough. Scraps aren't good enough. But whatever we do, we need two capable corners, whether they're on this team. I know the Dolphins are high on BJ Adams, the undrafted rookie that we got out of FSU. Are you one of them Florida schools down there? Not FSU, not Florida State, but Florida. Was it Florida International? What about Old Man Gilmore? Listen, Old Man Gilmore, again, he'd be our all right piece, but he's not a number one, that's for sure. And I don't even feel comfortable being a full-time starter, to be honest. I don't think I feel comfortable with Gilmore being a full-time starter. What's he, 35 years old? UCF. There you go, Elwood. Thank you. I know they're high on BJ out of UCF, but I just don't. They need to add someone. And I think they will. It just depends on who it is. But let's focus. You got Jordan Brooks. I think Jordan Brooks is probably the best linebacker we've had here since Carlos Dansby. Obviously, we've struggled at that middle linebacker position since Zach's been gone. We've never had that heat-seeking missile from the linebacker position since Zach's been gone. And that truly hurts this team. You know what I mean? It truly hurts this team. But I think Jordan Brooks is really good. Dotson played really well for us last year. I'm excited about both of them guys being back. We went and got Willie Gay. I really like Willie Gay's game. I think he can be a decent piece. We went and got Britt from Tampa Bay. So we got good depth. We got good starters in that middle of a linebacker core. And then you got your outside linebackers / defensive ends, and you got Chop, you got Jalen, you got Chubb. That's a lethal three-way combo right there. I think those guys are going to eat. I think you try to get those guys on the field together as much as possible in passing situations. Can Weaver figure out some kind of scheme where he can get the three of those on the field when it's passing situations? And then you got Zach Sealer, you got Kenneth Grant down low. I think Kenneth Grant is going to open Zach Sealer to have probably his best year of his career this year. And yeah, would it have been nice to get Calais to come back? Absolutely. It would have been nice. I think more so for just his tutelage to Kenneth Grant. Now, Calais played great for us last year. He did. But he was limited with the amount of snaps that he was playing. There was crucial times last year that Calais could have been in the game, but he was on some kind of snap count. And I think that hurt us in the long run. But last year, we had a top 10 defense. That's with terrible safety play. That's with not much of a pass rush. Bradley Chubb missed the whole year. Jalen Phillips missed the whole year, basically. Chop didn't really get it going till the second half of the season. He had that learning curve. So we really struggled to get after the quarterback unless it was Calais or Zach. And I think this year, this defensive pass rush could be absolutely filthy. Again, Kenneth Grant demands you to put two blockers on him. He's going to tie up the center and the guard on every play. A center and a guard every play. So what does that mean? It means that the opposing offense, got to leave an extra blocker in there to help out. Otherwise, someone's going to be coming free. What happens to the offense when they got to put an extra blocker down there? They have less options in the receiving game. If there's less options in the receiving game, that's less guys for our defensive backs to have to cover. I think Kenneth Grant is going to allow us to be even better at stopping the run. He's going to open it up so Jordan Brooks can get in there and make tackles in the run game. He's going to open it up so our pass rush is able to go through. He's gonna force pressure up through the middle so quarterbacks aren't able to step up into their throws. Kenneth Grant's going to do an awful lot for this football team. Exactly, Jose. We couldn't guard a number one wideout for the life of us last year, and we had Jalen Ramsey on this team. That's why I'm saying Jalen Ramsey. It pisses me off what he's doing, but in the same breath, I don't think Jalen Ramsey's all that great. David Long wasn't horrible. He just wasn't a very bright guy. Yeah, I mean, David Long was really good year one. He was here. Year two, he was terrible. He was good his first year here. Year two, he was terrible. These rookies at defensive tackle better play good. I think Zach's numbers dropped this year, in my opinion. He's going to get more double team. You can't double team both them guys, and you got to double team Kenneth Grant. You got to double team Kenneth Grant. If teams don't double team Kenneth Grant, they will pay for it. Trust me, believe it. Mark my words. There's no option. You can't double team Zach and Kenneth. You can't do it. You can't do it. If they try to double team both of them, somebody's getting home. No, Miller, I don't believe that to be the case. I don't think that's a correct statement. We were 10th in points per game given up. We were 10th in points. I don't know what you're talking about, Miller. You're not right on that one, brother. We were 10th in points per game given up. Now you're good, brother. Mistakes happen. I make mistakes all the time. Yeah, let me see. See if I can't pull up the rankings real quick. Yep, our rankings. We were 4th in yards per game at 314. 103 rushing yards a game. We were 9th. Passing yards a game, 210. We were 9th. And points per game, we were 10th at 21.4. Now, our offensive rankings, we were 18th in yards a game, 21st in rushing yards a game, 15th in passing yards a game, and 22nd in points per game. You take away them games that Tua wasn't playing, though, and all those percentages go way up. Like, when Tua played, we averaged just under 25 per game. Let's see what we averaged just under 25 points per game. So 25 points per game would have put us right here after the Broncos. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We would have been 11th in points per game last year. We would have been 11th in points per game last year. Bonnie says, I think Jordan Brooks is going to eat this year. Kenneth Grant and Saylor are going to free him up. Absolutely, Bonnie. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. They are going to absolutely free him right up. If you're joining us on X, come see us at the Fin Posse Podcast on YouTube. Make sure y'all hit that like buttons for me. How many likes we got right now? How many likes we got right now? Well, we only got 11. Come on, let's go. We got at least 13 in here. Farrell will be a second better blocker than Julian Hill, and Conyers takes Durham's role, in my opinion. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, Conyers is still young. I think he's a nice piece for the future. Jose says, man, I would part with Zach Sealer for a decent corner. Oh, man, I don't know if I'd do that, brother. I don't know if I would do that. I believe our GM is not worried about the secondary. If D-line is killing quarterbacks like this old statement about not being worried about O-line the year before, we all know how that turned out. Yeah, exactly. If he says he's not worried about the defensive back room, then that's when you worry. The lack of highlights and turnovers really makes our D look bad in memory, but statistically, it was good. We just don't. Yeah, Miller, because like I said, we were great stat wise last year defensively. We just were terrible at the sexy aspect of the defensive side of the ball. Turnovers, we were low on the turnovers. I think we were -5 in turnover ratio, and sacks. We didn't have a lot of sacks. They're the two sexy things on the defensive side of the ball. If you don't do those two things consistently, you think that you got a bad defense. But I think this year we're going to get the sacks. And what does pressure on quarterbacks cause? Turnovers. Pressure on quarterbacks causes turnovers. Hitting the quarterback causes turnovers. So I think we're going to improve in both those areas. Like I said yesterday, I think this offense has the capability of being top 5, at the very least top 10 offense in all of football. In this defense, we had top 10 defense last year. I know we have holes at the corner position, but I think we got better safeties this year. Now, are they more talented? No. They're not more talented, but I think they're going to give more effort. And sometimes that means more. Sometimes effort outweighs potential, outweighs skill, effort. And I think these safeties are going to give more effort. I think this defensive line is going to be better. I would have loved to have Calais back, but I think we're going to be better. This pass rush is going to be better. And I think we figure out some kind of Band-Aid to put on this cornerback room that at least they're respectable. And maybe they're not a top 10, top 15 unit. But if we're a top 20 cornerback room, I think that's good enough for us to be a top 10, top 7 defense. And if you got a top 10, top 5 offense with a top 10 defense, you're going to have some success. You're going to have success. Listen, Chop had a lot of pressures last year that he just didn't get home on. I think he gets home a lot more this year. Teams are not going to be able to just worry about Chop Robinson. Teams are going to worry about Chubb. Teams are going to have to worry about Phillips. Teams are going to have to worry about Grant and Sealer coming up the middle. Chop's going to have a year. I expect Chop to have 12 sacks minimum. Minimum 12 sacks for Chop. And I would not be surprised if Chop has a 15 sack season, and even pushes for the NFL sack title this year. I really feel he has that type of potential. I think this year, last year, Chop said in the interview, he said, last year, I trained like I was a track star. I just worried about running fast for the combine, for my pro day. This year, I was able to train like a football player. So he's gonna be feeling his body more. He's gonna be more equipped to play football. And I think with Kenneth Grant up front taking up blockers, I think with the added pass rushers we got on this team, Chop's going to take that next step and be the next superstar defensive player for the Miami Dolphins. I really believe that. Listen, I think Chop's going to be leaps and bounds better than JP. I really do. And I like JP, but I think Chop's going to be way better than JP. Raphael says Miller Hendricks, no GM's going to touch X. He's coming off Liz Frank injury foot in his off-field issues. Jordan Phillips might be Sealer's replacement. Yeah, maybe at some point. X is playing for the team. He's making $12 million this year with the team. I believe we extend him soon. He is the best Dolphins captain on D. X would bring a lot of drama. Not sure we need that. My opinion on X is I'd bring him in for a workout. I think at this point, we're almost to the point of desperation in the cornerback room. I'd bring him in for a workout. I would not give him any guaranteed money. Maybe give him the league minimum. Like it was just said, he's already making $12 million off us. I'd give him the league minimum. Any noise out of him, I cut him immediately. He's 2 years removed from his injuries and has kept his head down, not getting any more issues. At least work the guy out who was a star in the secondary for us, given our secondary issues. Yeah, I'm willing to give him an opportunity. I say work him out. What does it hurt to work him out? If he doesn't have nothing to bring to the table, then you send him on his way. With the Jalen Ramsey thing, is there smoke where there's fire with the Dallas Cowboys? And are they sending us Diggs in return? Because mind you, they gotta pay. They still gotta pay Micah Parsons. You know what I mean? They still got to pay Micah Parsons. They don't have the money. I also find it ridiculous that, teams want us to pay a bunch of this money, bunch of Jalen Ramsey's contract. You know what I mean? Why should you're getting a good player, a top 10 player at his position for what, a 4th, 5th round pick, and you want us to pay the salary too? Like, come on. People are tripping. There's no way I make that trade. Bonnie, you said if we keep him on the team, he'll fake an injury. If we're only able to get a 5th-round pick for him and we got to pay a majority of his salary, I'm not trading him. I'm sitting his ass. Either come play for the Dolphins or you're sitting out and you're going to lose a year of your career. Yeah, Bonnie. I mean, he did, but that's what I'm saying. He did buy the house in Dallas in the Fort Worth area, I'm pretty sure. Why? I mean, he's Jalen Ramsey. Why? You can buy a house anywhere in the world. Why? Nothing against the state of Texas. Nothing against the state of Texas, but why go buy a house in Dallas? Why? It just doesn't. It don't make sense to me. You know what I mean? It don't make sense to me. Like, I'm sure you got a house out in LA. I'm sure you got a house down here in Miami. Like, go buy a house in Malibu or go buy a house in Hawaii. Go buy a house somewhere exotic. Why go buy a house in Dallas? How much time you really spend in Dallas, you got to go buy a house. Unless you got to be there for 8 months out the year because you play there. You know what I mean? How much time are you really spending in Dallas? It could just be a house purchase. It could just be. I just don't know if that makes a lot of sense to me. Right? Right, Bonnie? Does that make, you know what I mean? Does that make a lot of sense? How much, I mean, you spend 8 months out the year living in the city and the state that you play football in. Are you going to spend your whole off season in Dallas? I don't know. I don't know. But it's rapidly approaching. I expect a conclusion to this, if not June 1st. If not right on June 1st, a couple days before that. It's definitely going to be happening before he can start getting fined for not showing up to OTAs. Tyreek said he's going to be at OTAs. I think Tyreek's going to be all in, and that's maybe he bought it for. That's true, Bonnie. We don't know. We don't know. All we can do is speculate. Maybe he bought it for a family member. He might have. He might have. But the conclusion to this is we still have roster moves to make. We still are going to have some. This team is going to still look different than what it does at this moment. But I really think no matter if we don't make another move right now, I think this team can still be successful. And again, we had talked about, I touched base on what does success look like? What does success look like? And some people, success is only a Super Bowl win. That's the only way you have a successful season is if you win the Super Bowl. But again, like I had said, not many teams have won the Super Bowl in the last 30 years. If you go back and you count in the last 30 years, how many different teams have won the Super Bowl? Jose says a second round appearance is a success. I think this team is capable of that. I think without a shadow of a doubt, this team is capable of that. I think it's reasonable that we could win a first round playoff game depending on who's it against. We do have some damn good barbecue here in Texas. Do you guys know if you're going to any of the games or training camp or anything? So we could try to set something up, perhaps. I did buy a ticket to the Dolphins Bills game, which I am absolutely regretting. I bought a ticket to the Bills Dolphins game to go with TD, and I'm kind of regretting it. I'm regretting it because those Bills fans are not freaking nice. There's a hell of a chance that we lose. So now I'm out all this money and we're going to lose. Oh, I just hope, and there's nothing worse than to hear in your face constant shit talk from a bunch of Bills fans. Imagine being surrounded by 70,000 Bills fans while you're losing. You know what I mean? It's not fun. It's not exciting. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. So I'm not, I'm not overly looking forward to it. And then let's say we pull off the win. Let's say we pull off the win. You got 70,000 people that are trying to pick a fight with you. You know what I mean? Say we upset them. You got 70,000 people when you're trying to walk out, trying to fucking pick a fight with you, throwing shit at you. You know what I mean? A bunch of drunk ass, hillbilly ass people trying to start shit with you because you won a football game. Week three in Buffalo, Thursday night. I'd be dressed in Bills gear, ain't gonna lie. And I'm not trying to save any Dolphins fans. Yeah. Yeah, Bonnie. I mean, I told TD asked me to come, and I know because he knows there ain't gonna be no other Dolphins fans. He knows there ain't a bunch of Dolphins fans flying into Buffalo and coming to this event with him. So he asked me to come. I said, all right, save me a ticket. And I immediately said it. And then I felt bad afterwards. I was like, man, I can't tell him I don't want the ticket now. He put it aside. Oh man. I might try to resell that shit. I might try to resell it. I ain't gonna lie. He said they're not having an event in Miami this year, though. He said they're not having an event in Miami, so I don't know what game I'd come down for. Like I said, I'd like to see the Dolphins win. So I had that Saints game kind of circled. I definitely want to come down for training camp. But listen, with this season that's coming up, you never know what could happen. Josh Allen's been pretty healthy. And not that I'm hoping for an injury, but dang, man. The guy, how many guys have you seen go their whole career and not suffer some kind of injury? So you never know. You never know. Like we could win this division this year. Josh Allen could be healthy and we could win this division. It's not crazy. It's not out the realm of possibility that if we got a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense that we can't beat the Buffalo Bills. And tomorrow I think we're going to take a look at the schedule as a whole and go through and pick the games real quick and see what who would make the playoffs and who won it. I think Buffalo's got some tough games. I know Buffalo's got the Ravens. I know Buffalo's got the Chiefs. I know Buffalo's got Philly. That's 3 games right there they could lose. That's 3 games right there that they could lose. Now let's say for some reason we go and we steal both games against the Bills this year. That'd be 5 losses. You telling me we can't win the division if we sweep the Buffalo Bills and they have at least 5 losses? To be honest, I'm making plans for the Marine Corps' birthday. That's what's up, brother. Plus, there's a high possibility I will end up in jail. Oh, man. Listen, again, have some high hopes. Trusting Greer, I guess. What other choice do we have at this point in time? Trusting Greer. Hopefully he helps out this cornerback room. And I'm very excited about the rookies that we have on this team. I'm excited about a new improved offensive line. I'm excited about a motivated Tyreek Hill. I'm excited about a healthy Tua Tagovailoa. Lots of things to be excited about. Lots of things to be excited about until they give you a reason not to be excited. So be optimistic. Have faith in this football team. You have no choice. You have no choice. As a fan of the Miami Dolphins, you have no choice but to be optimistic. And otherwise, you're going to drive yourself crazy. But I think there is potential here. And the fact that this was considered a little bit of a mini rebuild and we're trying to open up some cap space and starting the draft the correct way. And we got some extra picks next year. Hopefully we continue to build this team the correct way and we just move forward. We just continue to take steps forward. And that's all you can ask for right now. That's all you can ask for right now. But tomorrow we'll break down the NFL schedule and we'll see what the playoffs 2025 playoffs could look like. Until then, I love you all. You know that. And you know what it is, always and forever. We'll talk about a little bit of OTAs tomorrow too. They started today. We'll break down OTAs. You know what it is. I love you all. Thank you for joining me. And you know what it is, always and forever. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed. But you know what it is. Fins up forever and ever and ever and ever. I love y'all. Peace.
Try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, you check as I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just hold an obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression, could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, heard it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they see me. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds, they can stay soft. You could